This summer I landed a tench, just under 1.5 kilos, and the feed that brought her into my swim cost less than a pack of cigarettes. Not a 2-kilo bag of branded Groundbait, not a flavored mix with a carp or tench on the label. If you've been paying shop prices just to throw food in the water, this video is for you. I'm going to show you 5 feeds you can make from the bread shelf and the market, how to prepare each one so it actually works, and which fish each one draws. I'll also tell you the feeding mistake that empties more swims than bad feed ever did. And at the end, the old seed my uncle swore by, the one that kept that tench digging in my spot long enough to find my hook. Stay for that one, because it might be the cheapest edge left in fishing. The first on this list is dark bread. My uncle was a bread man his whole life. Massive tench. 2 kilograms, 2.5 kilograms, year after year, and his feed came from the bakery's day-old shelf. I was so surprised that he was catching so many fish only with bread as ground bait, and that was when I truly realized that store ground bait is unnecessary and is only created to wash money out of your pocket most of the time. However, bread comes with one big problem. It's the problem that makes most people give up on bread. Throw it in as it is, and it floats. It drifts off with the wind and feeds the ducks on the far bank while your swim sits empty. My uncle's fix was the meat grinder. Run stale dark bread through it, and you get a heavy, damp crumb. Add a bit of water to it, squeeze it into balls the size of an egg, and it sinks straight down and breaks up on the bottom, right where you want the fish looking. That dark carpet of crumb is a tench magnet, and bream and better roach will move in over it too. A loaf of stale dark bread costs almost nothing, and one loaf is more than enough feed for a session. But this wasn't the ground bait I used that day when I caught my first 1.5 kilogram tench. I'll get to that in a second, but now, second ground bait on the list is white bread. White bread does a different job, and for me it's been the early spring feed, when the water is still cold and the chub wants something easy. Grind it the same way, or run it through a blender until it's a fine crumb. Fed in small, loose balls, white crumb does something dark bread doesn't. It breaks up into a pale cloud that hangs in the water. Fish see that cloud from a long way off in clear spring water. Chub come to it, roach and dace come to it, and because the pieces are tiny, they find almost nothing to actually eat. They arrive hungry and they stay hungry, which is exactly how you want them. In cold water, feed less than feels right. I'll come back to that. But now, third on this list is boiled wheat and pearl barley. Now the one your grandfather's generation fed by the bucket because it was what they could get. Plain wheat or pearl barley from the grocery store, one of the cheapest things in the shop. Soak it for a day or two, then boil it gently until the grains go soft and some of them split. What you've got is a proper particle feed. A spread of soft grains across the bottom that every fish in the lake will eat, roach, bream, tench, carp, all of them. One honest warning with grain, and it comes straight from the old anglers who used it. It's filling. A swim carpeted in boiled wheat feeds the fish off completely. A few handfuls is a session's worth, not a bucket. Grain is the feed where the mistake I'm about to cover costs you the most. Now the fourth ground bait is the one everyone knows, but most anglers miss that it can be used in 2 ways. A tin of corn costs about €1, and it earns its place twice. First method to use sweet corn as bait is obvious, as loose feed, a small handful of grains around your float, bright yellow on the bottom, and tench, carp, and big roach come to the color. But only a small handful, corn is exactly the feed people overdo. The second way is the one most people never think of. Pour the juice from the tin into your breadcrumb and blitz half the grains into mush and mix that through too. Now your cheap crumb smells and tastes sweet, the way expensive branded ground bait does, because sweetness is half of what you're paying for in those bags. 1 tin, and your feed just got an upgrade for free. The fifth is sunflower seed cake, the old Eastern European one, and if you've fished with older men from around here, you've smelled it. Makuha, pressed sunflower seed cake, what's left after the oil is squeezed out. Farmers feed it to animals, markets sell it for next to nothing, and it might be the strongest smelling feed on this list. Crush it or grate it into your breadcrumb, and that oily, nutty smell pulls through the water like nothing else in this video. Tench, carp, and bream respond to it especially. If you can't find pressed cake, dry roast plain sunflower seeds in a pan, grind them, and mix that through your crumb instead. Same oily smell, straight from the grocery store. A little goes a long way. It's a seasoning, not the meal. Now the part that decides whether any of this works, because I've watched people prepare perfect feed and still sit there all day without a bite. They feed too much. It feels generous, it feels like it should pull more fish, and it does the opposite. A fish that's eaten its fill of free grain and corn has no reason left to pick up the one bait with your hook in it. You're not there to feed them dinner. You're there to set the table and keep them hungry. Start with a few balls of crumb or a couple of handfuls of particles, then top up a little at a time, only when the swim goes quiet. If you're not sure, feed half of what you think you should. You can always add. You can never take it back out. And now, the bonus ground bait that I used to catch that tench. And it's hemp. Hemp. You'll find it in tackle shops, sold as fishing bait, and anglers have fed it for 100 years. However, not everyone knows how to prepare it for the fishing session the right way. The old boys used to say fish get addicted to it, that once they've tasted the black seed, they can't leave. I won't promise you the science on that, but watch what it does in practice, and you'll understand the legend. The seeds are tiny, and they settle into the bottom, so fish have to root and dig to find every last one. Their heads go down, and they stay down. Your swim holds fish for an hour instead of 5 minutes, and whatever bait you've got waiting for them on the hook is sitting right in the middle of it all. You must prepare it first. This part isn't optional. Dry seed swells with water, so soak it, then boil it gently until you see the shells split and the little white kernels show. Then feed it as a thin carpet, put a grain of corn or a piece of bread on your hook over the top, and let the seeds do the holding. That's the whole story of that tench. The hemp kept her digging in my swim. My hook bait just happened to be the biggest thing on the table when she got curious. One honest note to finish. Good feed draws fish and holds them, but no feed beats a bad day, wrong spot, wrong depth, a cold front, and the best fed swim in the lake stays quiet. These feeds will save you real money every single trip. The catching still depends on the rest of your fishing. So, this weekend, grab a stale loaf or two and run them through the grinder. That's your base. 1 tin of corn, juice, and half the grains into the crumb. The rest is loose feed. If you pass a market, a piece of sunflower cake to grate in. And if you can get to a tackle shop, a bag of hemp soaking Friday night, boiled Saturday morning, fed as a thin carpet under everything else. All of it together costs less than 1 bag of branded ground bait, and you'll fish the whole day on it. Also, tell me in the comments, what did your father or grandfather mix into their feed? I want to hear the old family recipes before they're forgotten.